Hey, didn't see you there. Welcome to my backyard training facility. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is another Fitness Friday video on Gajtka Golf Performance. And I want to talk to you about something that I've seen in a negative way on the golf courses that I've played this year and the driving ranges that I've visited, and something I just tried to accomplish right there on the positive side of things. And I'm talking about creating and then releasing tension in the backswing in particular. So many folks that I see out there playing or practicing, like I said, look like they're treating the backswing as just some perfunctory thing to go through, just a mandatory recoil to get yourself in the position to hit the shot. And there's a lot to that. There's a lot of different ways to get the club in a powerful position, or a lot of different looks, I should say. But the important principle of the backswing is that you are creating tension in order to thus release that rubber band, if you will, if you want to use that metaphor. I always check two things. Number one, if I may turn back to my original orientation here, am I getting the club high enough when I take it back? So many people, including myself, this is my biggest natural swing flaw. But if I set up with my hands too far forward, that tends to make me want to yank the club back inside, and thus you got to reroute it coming in. That can lead to an over-the-top move, a casting move, early extension, a lot of the flaws that you hear about in the golf swing. But I find that if I push my hands farther away from the center of my body in the takeaway, thus getting them higher, let me show you, should have a higher camera, but getting them up above with my right hand, above that right shoulder. That's a pretty good checkpoint for me in terms of getting the club high enough. That height generates tension because what? You're fighting gravity. Correct. Yeah, I think we all learned a little something in school about physics. Sir Isaac Newton would be proud of this application, I'm sure. But the principle holds. You get it higher off the ground. It also stretches this left lat in particular. There's some stretch in the right lat muscle too, but the left lat is the one that's doing a lot of the work here when the club changes direction and you pull down. Getting the club higher increases this stretch in your lat, in addition to creating that differential with the ground, which you can then use to your advantage with that more potential energy to drop into the ball. I know the higher I get my hands, for the most part, there's a limit there, but the higher I get my hands, the more power I feel like I have, and the more club head speed I'm able to deliver. Another way to create tension, I mentioned getting the club far away from the ground. How about getting the club farther away from your sternum, from your center, if you will? And that entails pushing the club back, pushing it back. You don't necessarily have to go all the way back like this to club parallel, but it's a good visual to have in your mind, a good feel to have in mind is, well, I'm getting this club as far from my chest as possible. Now, why does pushing the club horizontally also create tension? Well, it doesn't have gravity to fight against, but what it does have, again, is the stretching of these muscles through your lead side in particular. And you can have some of that stretching as well in the right side, depending on how far in front of you you get the club. But mostly it's the lead side, and mostly that leads to that rubber band effect I'm talking about. Elasticity. When you stretch a muscle, it wants to then, as a result of that stretching, shorten, and that principle you can use to also increase the power of your golf swing. Hope you liked this tutorial here. Just two little tips to increase your power and things to think about the next time you're feeling like you're not hitting it quite as far as you should. This video is available for free for a short amount of time. After that, it'll go behind the paywall on my Patreon page. Go right there for $5 a month. You can get access to this and all my previous Gajtka Golf Performance videos. I am Matt Gajtka. I'm an accredited golf fitness specialist by the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and I'll continue to share some tidbits and thoughts and things that I've learned along the journey, not just from my formal study, but also from practical study, the kind of thing that happens out here, out back here in West Michigan. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.